So if you guys are a fan of Rockstar Games titles, which I'm assuming you're watching this video because you are, Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, Midnight Club, Bully, etc., and you're going to be getting an Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S, this is really, really good news for you. So over the last week or so, Microsoft has been sending out Xbox Series X, their next generation consoles, to a lot of media outlets and individuals who have been able to run a lot of testing on the console and how improvements for games that have been out on previous systems like Xbox One and even Xbox 360 are now going to perform even better on the new generation Xbox, which is really exciting. So like I just mentioned, the Xbox Series X was given into the hands of many huge media outlets across the world, and they have finally shared their impressions on Microsoft's upcoming next-gen system, which again is set to launch this November. Now, a couple of days ago, Microsoft lifted the embargo after almost an entire week of letting the media test out the new hardware and to give their own thoughts on it. And two Rockstar titles in particular have actually seen a significant improvement just by playing them on Xbox Series X as compared to playing them on the older generation Xboxes, like I mentioned, Xbox One X and Xbox 360. The names are getting a little confusing, so just stick with me here. So Rockstar's 2008 Grand Theft Auto 4 title gets a new substantial set of improvements with Microsoft's Xbox Series X, with improved frame rate and even HDR for the very first time. So I'm sure you guys know the folks over at Digital Foundry. They actually spent a week testing a bunch of titles as a part of the backwards compatibility program on the Xbox Series X hardware, which is something we talked about in a previous video, how you're going to be able to play a ton of older Rockstar titles, whether it's Red Dead Redemption, GTA 4, etc., etc. And Richard Ledbetter of Digital Foundry actually revealed that Grand Theft Auto 4 ran completely locked at 60 frames per second without a single frame drop anywhere to be seen from his analysis video, which I will leave a link to in the description. And Richard also reveals the game takes advantage of the new Auto HDR technology as well. So this is a screenshot from Digital Foundry's video. On the left-hand side, you can see the new Xbox Series X, which is running at 60 frames per second. Xbox One X, which is running at little over 30, at 36. And on the Xbox 360, GTA 4 couldn't even run at 28 frames a second. Couldn't even get to 30. So you're seeing a huge improvement there. Now, granted, the Xbox 360 came out a long time ago, and Grand Theft Auto 4 was developed a long time ago, but it is cool that the hardware can now not only provide 60 FPS, but stable 60 FPS as well. So if you guys look at the frame times and the frame rate, you can see that on the Xbox Series X, it stays at 60, whereas on the Xbox One, it would jump up to 60 in little spurts, but then would come back down to around 30. And then on the Xbox 360, it would try to be around 30, but would dip a lot lower in some instances. So that's going to be a huge improvement right there. And that's just one example of a Rockstar title that is going to see amazing upgrades just by playing it on the Xbox Series X. Now, considering how GTA 4 is a very demanding title on PC, in fact, Grand Theft Auto 4 might be one of the worst PC titles of all time in terms of bugs and glitches and things that are wrong and things that make it almost unplayable. So it's really impressive that the Xbox Series X has been able to achieve this result, because I ended up building a PC at the very end of 2019, so it's less than a year old. It has pretty much the most recent hardware in there, and it can run any game pretty much flawlessly. But GTA 4 still makes my machine struggle. So this is very impressive from Microsoft and the Xbox Series X. It's also very impressive that there's no screen tearing as well. Again, if you'd like to check out the full analysis video from Digital Foundry, I'll leave a link to their page in the description as well. Now, Grand Theft Auto 4 was not the only game to see a significant improvement. A much more recent game, Rockstar's Wild West title Red Dead Redemption 2, also saw a big improvement from less loading time on the Xbox Series X. So Austin Evans, another popular YouTuber who you might know, he actually gave Red Dead Redemption 2 a test run in his impression preview to see how the loading times perform with the super fast SSD equipped with the console. And in his video, which again I will leave a link to in the description, Austin reveals that the console took as little as 37 seconds to load into the game, while the Xbox One X took over a minute and 37 seconds. Now, that's just one report. I've also seen another report from GameSpot where loading into Red Dead Redemption 2 using the Xbox Series X only took 38 seconds, but loading on the Xbox One X took 2 minutes and 8 seconds. So in both of these instances, you're seeing a load time roughly between 30 to 40 seconds, and that's a huge comparison to where it was, where it would take anywhere from a minute to 2 minutes. I mean, just think about all the times you load into the game, and now each time you do so, you'll be saving a minute to 2 minutes each time. That is extremely impressive. And remember that that is just the backwards compatibility for both of those games. Who knows what Rockstar plans to do for both of these titles? I think at this point in time, it would be more likely that Red Dead Redemption 2 would see a complete remaster, sort of like an expanded and enhanced version like what Rockstar is going to do on GTA 5 for the Xbox Series X and the PS5. But this is still wildly impressive that you won't have to buy a new game and you can still see incredible improvements here. And this again is another screenshot from Austin's video. You guys can see at the very top, the Xbox Series X only took 37 seconds to load into. Xbox One X took about a minute and 37 seconds, and Xbox One roughly the same time, a minute and 38 seconds. So there's not a big improvement between Xbox One and Xbox One X, but there is a big improvement, about a minute, from Xbox Series X to those two. So this is obviously very good news. It seems like Microsoft has done an incredible job with the Xbox Series X and its ability to basically take these older games and turn them into much playable versions than they were. Now, Red Dead Redemption 2, a little bit less so than Grand Theft Auto 4, but it is really nice to see those loading times improved. And GTA 4, like, the difference between 28 frames a second and a solid 60 FPS is huge. Like, it is going to completely change and revolutionize your experience. So it'll actually be fun to go back and sort of play some of these older titles, especially some of the Rockstar ones. And if you haven't played GTA 4 in a while or just want to dive back into it, if you are getting a new Xbox, this is something you might want to dip your toe in a little bit here. But anyways, that is all the information that I have got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What do you think of this news from Microsoft, these media outlets, and YouTubers that the Xbox Series X is very impressive, especially when it comes to Rockstar titles? I would, of course, love to hear from you guys in the comments down below, so let me know what you're thinking down there. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Red Dead Redemption videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.